are stories that connect us to ourselves and each other. These stories reveal who we are and show us the many vivid, wild colors of our truth. Welcome to Soul Wanderings, where we raise spiritual awareness and foster connections through these shared stories and personal experiences. And now, exclusively on KGRA Radio, I give you your host for Soul Wanderings Radio. Here's AJ.
Welcome to my favorite night of the week, Soul Wanderings Night. Soul Wanderings is a show about journey stories, and we are hanging out here on the best in alternative talk radio, KGRA Radio, and it's heard throughout our universe every Wednesday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. And each week we get to wander with a new guest about their authentic experiences through this human journey. And it's so awesome to have you here with us for yet another live show tonight. So hello, friends. I am AJ Rasmussen, and I am an owner and manager of a heart-centered healing space. And every day I get to assist others in their journeys, their healing journeys. I also have this magical opportunity to be your host of Soul Wanderings. And for those of you who are new, or just as a reminder to those who are not, I hang out in the chat room during the show, and it's a great place to be, especially if you find yourself with a question for our guest. I try to grab as many as I can. So if you're going to have questions, remember this. KGRAradio.com. Click on the chat room button or /chat. And I really hope to find you there with myself and the other wanderers tonight. All right, everyone, we're just going to hop right in. Let's begin our wandering. We have had several types of coaches here on the show, that's for sure. But they're all different. And our guest tonight is definitely a different type of coach. I suppose you could say she is the coach of coaches, in that she teaches us what type of coach would be best for us, what type of questions are best to ask our coach to get the best possible outcome, and so much more. She is the author of Finding Your Coach, Diving Deep Within, and she's here to share her personal journey story and the purpose of writing her book. Let's welcome to the show, Melinda J. Kelly. Hello, Melinda.
Hello there. I am so delighted to be with you this evening.
I am happy to have you here. Thank you for spending your time with us tonight. I'm really excited to hear what you get to share with us.
Me too. I've been enjoying hearing your other guests and how open and honest and truly generous they are with their adventures and their journeys. So it's a high bar you set with your guests.
Well, you're in good company. You're right along with us and our listeners. We're always wanting to learn and experience more. That's why we're all here. So tonight we are going to learn all about you. So first, we'd love to hear you share some things about yourself. Who is Melinda?
You know, it's always interesting when people say, "Who are you?" Because I don't know that we take enough time to define ourselves. And we sort of list out accomplishments or our jobs or whatever. And one of the most interesting aspects of this entire process of writing and then speaking with people is when they say, "Who are you?" Finding out who you are so that you can say it in a way that is interesting towards other people. I am a Los Angeles native, several generations. I kid, the wheel fell off the wagon, and one of the ladies of my troop said, "You cannot make me go any further." If they hadn't have stopped, we might have gone to Hawaii, and that would have been nice.
Yes.
I am very fortunate that I have had a family I've had the luxury of my family in one area, and that creates a very lovely sense of history. And from that, one of the things that was important in my family was reaching out and doing for others. And so I've had a lot of volunteer work in my life from childhood on, which gives a very lovely perspective of the world. And as I reached my maturity after my leisurely educational approach, I went into my family's business. And the best thing about working with family is that you're working with family. And the worst thing about family business is you're working with family.
Yes.
And I'm very happy to say that I had a wonderful time working within that and still have it. And it brings a lot of questions to the surface because you have to define yourself in a family business as more than just part of the family or more than just part of the business, which is where also going to outside organizations was beneficial in my life. So I was sailing along, and I always find there's a part in your life where everything seems just so effortless and you think you've got it all figured out, and then you stub your toe. And for me, that was a collision of my personal, my professional, and my family life colliding all at once. And I looked at the family business, which I had taken over with my father's passing, and had to ask myself some serious questions about it and the direction for its future. I had a long time romantic relation suddenly have a lot of friction in it and needed to question what was going on with that. And I had a family member have a very serious health issue, which pulled me in a lot of different directions. And I think that it always sounds weird, but the odd blessing from that is it gave me the freedom to ask what it is I wanted to do. Because when everything you thought was going as it was changes, you could choose to do anything. Mm. And while it sounds very exciting, it's also very terrifying. Because that much potential or possibility, it's like being 5 years old again and anything could happen. But unlike a 5-year-old, we now know that there are things that might not happen. And so it becomes an interesting dance within yourself to believe and to question and to choose and to go forward in hope.
Like starting at square one all over again. Do you feel like we get to take those opportunities several times, or we would hope several times throughout our lives, as scary as it could be?
I believe that it's something we should embrace more than we do. Mm-hmm. And one of the things through this, I've discovered how much I love questions. And I believe there's great power in questions. And when we aren't afraid to ask questions of ourselves, of our lives, of our world, it allows us a greater confidence because we have a better sense of who we are and what our values and our thoughts are. Mm-hmm. But so often in life, we sort of get shushed and we stop asking questions and we accept what it is because it's okay enough. And one of the questions that maybe we need to consider asking is okay enough okay enough?
I guess sometimes it would be, and sometimes it definitely wouldn't be. Wouldn't it be according to our comfort level, or if we're willing to push ourselves more?
Mm-hmm. And if you want to push yourself, that's great. If you don't want to push yourself, that's great. But knowing who we are means we're okay with it. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro tomorrow, that's fine. But if that's something that you're going to do, I think it's the seven sisters, the seven mountains, and that's burning in your soul. Obviously, watching it on TV isn't preparing you to get there. So is it really a dream or is it a pipe dream? And do you want to make it happen or do you want to talk about it? And
there's so many of us who want to just talk about it, right?
Right. And there's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
Because if you just want to talk about it and celebrate everyone else's achievement and how much it's meant to you and how it sparked you or inspired you, that's great. But if you really wanted to climb that mountain, you're only letting yourself down.
Mm. And really, at the end of the day, it is our journey. And so what we decide to do, we get to be okay with what our answer is.
Exactly. I say I want everybody to have their everything. I just want it to be your everything.
Whatever that looks like. Let's talk about the power of questions.
Mm-hmm.
There is power behind questions. There's no doubt about that. Some of us don't really know how to ask those questions to ourselves to really get the momentum to maybe push us further or think outside the box. So what does that look like for you, the power of asking not just questions, but the right questions?
Well, the first thing I think is that we need to be very kind to ourselves and we need to begin a softer dialogue. I feel that so often we're full of, I should have done this and I could have done that. And we're always seeing our omissions, not what we do. And so for us to start a discussion with ourselves from a place of kindness opens the door for us to talk about almost anything. But a question I like that's just a starting place is, when you suddenly see something, is it something you need? Is it something you want? Or is it something you'd like?
Do you feel like it's important to prioritize one over the other?
I feel that there are needs. We all know what the needs are. You know, if you need housing, but you need a basic shelter. Now, would you like a mansion? Sure, we'd all like a mansion. But what I want might be a sweet little 2-bedroom bungalow that is just cozy for me.
Mm.
So which is the one that is going to support and sustain me? I could get the mansion and then spend my life taking care of my house. I could have my little bungalow and spend my life taking care of adventures and fun. And my need is that I've got a roof over my head.
So it really is important to ask yourself those questions to dive deeper and figure out what it is that we really desire.
Mm-hmm. And what will make us happy?
Mm-hmm.
That's another question is this something we want for us or that we think people will think better of us because we have it?
That's a good question, too. So many of us want to keep up with the Joneses. We're not really checking in with ourselves to see what really it is that we desire and what will make us the happiest.
And for all we know, the Smiths might have it figured out much better, and we haven't even been talking with them.
Right. Right. Forget about the Joneses, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't always know all the answers.
Exactly, but they definitely have one heck of a good shopping list.
And bank account.
Exactly. So, but so that's why I said I want everyone to have their everything, but I want it to be your everything.
Mm-hmm.
And too often we get distracted or sidetracked. And it's so subtle, we don't even know it's happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to say, we all have something in our closet that we can't believe we purchased. But it made sense at the time. But it wasn't something we bought for us. It's something we bought because we thought it would look good, or we were going to entertain with it, or there are a million things, but it was never purchased with us in mind. It was purchased with other people in mind.
Yeah. And, there is something to be said about that, because I feel like us as humans, we're always looking outside of ourselves for that happiness, to find the things that are going to make us happy, not realizing that we really need very little.
I would agree. But we've somehow created this list of, when I get that, I will be, without realizing we don't need that, and we are. And I notice whenever anybody travels that they find wherever they've been, there's a simplicity that just reaches their heart and they long for it. And if it's going to Europe and taking an hour to have a cup of coffee and watching the world go by, or if it's in South America and you all go to the corner bar and watch a sporting event. There is something whenever we travel that calls to a collective joy of being that we've sort of gotten disconnected from. And it takes very little. I mean, we're just sitting down on a chair with a beverage with strangers, and yet there's something about that that feels very fulfilling and pleasant and gives us a sense of connection.
Right. And I suppose it's also a matter of where we are in our lives as well.
Yes, because I would say when the first time you travel, you're seeing everything you can so you can mark them off your list. And then when you travel later in life, you start to appreciate things you may not have noticed. And when you travel at last, you're just happy you're traveling.
Yeah. I feel like also as you age, you take time to stop and enjoy the little things and pay more attention to the details.
I would agree. And wouldn't it be nicer if we developed that gift earlier?
Yes. Yes. I have enjoyed the journey for sure, but I have to say, I really am one of those people who enjoy getting older. I feel like life just gets more sweet as you progress down this journey, no matter what it looks like.
Well, isn't it interesting that aging has become the enemy when in so many cultures it's all about wisdom and knowledge and experience and being able to share that. And there's a reason we, venerate the matriarchs and the patriarchs of our family, because they have attained wisdom and they look after the people they love. And isn't that a lovely position in life to be, where you can be giving to others in your family, in your community? But we've all gotten very caught up with the better wrinkle cream and being able to fit into our size 2, whatever it is.
Yeah. And we worry so much about the wrinkles and the changes in our bodies that are occurring, instead of just realizing those are like wisdom marks, and we're aging gracefully, and it's a gift to be able to do so.
And that some of the best are when you get laugh lines, because it means you've had a lot of humor and love and laughter in your life.
Yes, I agree. My wrinkles definitely are from smiling. I have lots of smile marks. How awesome is that? Let's talk about comfort zones. When we ask ourselves these questions and we're really wanting to like dig deeper within who we are, what about our comfort zones? How do we like get past those and really dig even more deeper than before because we're wanting more for ourselves?
Well, of course, the hardest thing is to not be comfortable. And it's up there with admitting we may not be perfect. And there is a quote I heard forever ago, and I don't know who should get credit for it, but I love it. People admire you for your qualities. And I've rephrased it too, but they love you for your quirks. And I'm very happy to be quirky. It's nice to be admired, but isn't it better to be loved?
Yes. A completely different vibration.
But when you accept that you're a little quirky, it means you're not perfect, or that you have a different way of seeing things or a different way of doing things. And I like to say, there are many ways to get to the beach. I might want to get right to the beach, and I want a short path. You might want to go and pick up a friend and then go to the beach. And your friend might want to take the scenic route because they haven't been to the beach in a long time. All three of these routes are good. They're all different. They all get to the same place. So who's to say which route is better than the other? But we get so caught up in there's only one way to do something. And when we do that, we don't necessarily embrace our own talents. We might know the best scenic route to get to the beach. But if we don't share it, who else is going to know it?
Isn't that the truth? I love that analogy, how you put it. We are so focused on it having to look and be a certain way when in all reality, there are several ways to get to the finish line.
And if it's about getting the mission done, the job done, the task done, does it matter how it's completed?
Why do you think we put so much pressure on ourselves to have it look and be a certain way to completion, or even to rush the process of getting to the finish line?
My first thought, and sorry, I know the worst thing is to ever really be pensive and think about something when someone asks you something, especially with their time. But for women, I believe we have an expectation of getting it done and getting it done perfectly. And we're raised to be good little girls. And not that there's anything wrong with that, but we don't want to disappoint. And so if doing it this way every time works, we'll do it that way. But when we don't think about it, we don't look at where we have talents that might improve it or help it or make it easier. It's like, okay, this is another story I love about the newlywed who fixed her new husband, a super duper special dinner. And he's watching her prepare the ham. And she starts and she cuts off one end and cuts off the other and puts it in the pan. And after dinner, he goes, meal was wonderful, but I didn't understand why you cut off so much of the meat. She said, well, that's just how my mother always did it, so that's why I do it that way. He goes, okay, well, the next day she calls her mother to say, I'm curious, why is it our family recipe is we cut off the two ends of the ham before we cook it? Her mother said, I really don't know, but that's just how my mother always did it, so that's how I taught you to do it. So she calls her mother, who says, oh, yeah, I had to cut off the ends because I only had one pan and half of the time the ham wouldn't fit in it.
So many perspectives.
There was a time when that made sense. And there were legitimate reasons for doing that. But then the circumstances changed, but we didn't question them or look at them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were continued, and someone's outside eyes looked at it and said, "What are you doing?" And because it was our normal, we never thought twice about it.
Mm-hmm. That's happening. I mean, we're all guilty of that for sure. But I've witnessed people. I even had this conversation the other day sitting around the fire with some of my friends, and we were talking about a topic, and I said, "Well, why do you do that? Why do you believe that?" And she's like, "I don't know. I just do. My mom did it that way, so I do it that way." And she never had really thought about why she was doing or not doing what she was discussing with us. And I just thought, how interesting is that we do those things, that we just do it because that's just what we do. That's just all we know. And we don't stop to think and question the why.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it becomes tradition.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how did a tradition start? A group of people just repeated it enough that it became something we do.
Right. Well, this is definitely interesting, and I know we're just getting started, but we're going to take a quick break. We are wandering with Melinda J. Kelly this evening, and when we get back, we're definitely going to hear more about this journey of hers and her willingness to share the journey with us. We'll be right back.
Author Kathleen Watts, a.k.a. Thought Continuum, shares a double abduction experience in her book, Catch Me If You Can, a story of alien abduction and culprit plunder. This 1976 true life account of a close encounter in northern Utah near Hill Air Force Base. Imagine driving home from the movies with your spouse when your car suddenly stops working, and it's in that very same moment that you realize you are the only thing animated. Catch Me If You Can, the 5th anniversary edition with lead-in material for the upcoming release of Payback is a Glitch from award-winning author Kathleen Watts. Get your copy today. Log on to thoughtcontinuum.com. That's thoughtcontinuum.com.
Feeling sluggish, bloated, gassy, and, well, you know, want some relief? Try Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Our unique blend of all natural herbs go to work on your digestive tract, giving you So before you try our super strength formula. It does a great job removing intruders that jack you up. Thousands of people use Life Change Tea every month, so try it because you're gonna love the way you feel. And here's a little pick-me-up. Order now and receive 10% off your first order by entering in 10 today in the coupon code. That's 10 today in the coupon code. Go to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Enter 10 today in the coupon code for your 10% discount. Wow, feeling good never felt so good. Get some tea love at getthetea.com. Changing America, one tea bag at a time.
Hi, Matt Ray with America's First News here, and I have great news for those of you who suffer with debilitating migraine headaches, maybe a loved one or your child does. MigraLief, the nutritional migraine supplement everyone's talking about, now can be found at the vitamin shop stores nationwide and Meijer in the Midwest. For almost 2 decades, hundreds of thousands of migraine sufferers have benefited from MigraLief, and thousands of neurologists and headache specialists recommend it. Why is it popular? It's drug-free and addresses the specific nutritional needs of adults and children who suffer migraines. What's even better, MigraLief comes in a formula you can take daily and one on the spot as needed. So if you get migraines, get your life back on track. Go to MIG911.com. That's MIG and the numbers 911.com. That's also where you can read the testimonials. Or head on over to your local vitamin shop store nationwide or Meijer in the Midwest. If you get migraines, do yourself a favor. Change your life with MigraLeaf.
Hey, is that a new music app?
Yeah, check it out. Surfer Music Discovery. It links to thousands of online stations, but the twist is you see the song names and artists that are now playing live.
That's different. No guessing. Looks like a waterfall of music.
So many formats. Rock, oldies, country, R&B, jazz, and a whole lot more.
How's that spelled?
Surfer. S-U-R-F-R.
Is it expensive?
It's free. No need to sign up or sign in.
Get the Surfer Music app free from Google Play or the App Store.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRAradio.com.
Welcome back to Soul Wanderings, hosted here on this fantastic station, KGRAradio.com. We are here wandering with our guest this evening. Her name is Melinda J. Kelly. She is the author of Finding Your Coach, Diving Deep Within. And we haven't yet talked about the book, but we're getting there. We're slowly getting there. Right now, it's more about Melinda and her experiences and advice that she's offering to us tonight. Thanks for being here, Melinda.
Well, I really am so delighted to be here. And this is such a fun and interesting conversation and wander.
It's fun to wander, isn't it?
One of my favorite quotes is, "Not all who wander are lost."
Oh, perfect. Yes.
And it is so true. If you've ever thought about if you get off the highway and take a different route, the beautiful discoveries you make. Mm-hmm. So I love the idea of a soul wandering and encountering so many other things. I really do enjoy your title.
Oh, thank you. It didn't take long to figure it out. And when it was available, we jumped right on it because it makes so much sense. There's so many of us we could wander with, and we're all these wandering souls figuring out what this life is all about. And here we are. We get to talk with different people every week about it, which is so cool. And this week we get to talk to you and your experiences, and I'm thankful for you and your time. We're talking about the power of questions and being in or out of our comfort zones. What about the fear of change? How do we get out of our own way? Get out of our own head, because fear is such a thing for so many of us.
Well, haven't we all been raised that change is never good, and change is always scary, and change is always fraught with peril? And I was thinking even the good things seem to be tainted by this. Like when a young woman's getting married and they're the showers and people give her all the stories about the bad things that have happened. Or a first-time mother will hear that everyone in the room was in labor for, 7 months at level 9. All these exciting, wonderful, momentous changes get these odd stories attached to them to scare you about it. And even starting your first job, it's all about, be careful and don't this, and sort of, don't make one false step. And we don't encourage one another to just go shine, go forth and go do good stuff. It's almost as if we're scaring them into being small so that they won't create a problem or be noticed. And that may not be the best advice to give one another.
It's very true. It boggles my mind how fear can just overcome us so easily and distract us from the greater purpose or even our truth.
But it makes sense.
It does.
Fear is what kept us alive when we saw those big, weird animals coming at us and they had those sharp things, and we didn't think those sharp things looked very good.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't pay attention, that big, weird animal with the sharp things might eat your friend. So at an early age, questioning really was about survival. And change, well, the changes were big and often catastrophic.
Very true.
But we have come so far. And when I think about just the core creature comforts we have, we're not worried about burning ourselves and dying from a burn. Now, that was a reality when you were a cave person, but we're a few years past that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can go get some aloe vera or go to the emergency room or do a lot of things to take care of ourselves. But at some level, we haven't lost that primal fear to move into a place where we're more welcoming and accepting. And I would imagine a lot of that has to do with, I think we need to stub our toes early and often. And by that, I mean, if you make a mistake and learn you can recover from it, it doesn't scare you as much. But if our lives are spent doing the right thing and being perfect, any mistake takes on a life different from what it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if we make a mistake and recover from it, we develop our own sense of resilience. And we understand that, okay, this is a change from what I planned, but I got through it. Whereas the narrative we've all been fed is change will come and just knuckle down and hang in there.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it be nice for us to see that change might actually bring good things for us, as well as it might completely upset us? But whichever one it brings, we'll be okay.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe that it's all divinely created somehow, like our mistakes or our change, even though it's not on our radar and it happens, is part of the greater plan? I don't know how spiritual you are or what that looks like for you, but do you feel like not everything happens the way we desire it to because there's always a better outcome for us?
I think that we are these lovely little creatures wandering about. I don't know if there is a divine plan. I only know that for me, that I try to live my life in gratitude because I'm amazed every day at what is going on around me and with me. Mm. And I'm thankful for that. I am thankful that I do question. I'm thankful that I've had the life I've had, both in the wonderful stuff and in the not so wonderful stuff, because that gave me talents or gifts or strengths I wouldn't have found otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what the entire purpose is. So my interpretation of the purpose of this is to go through and have my life experience be something that is enriching and rewarding, be something of kindness towards others, that it should be something that I would like when people hear my name, they smile.
Yeah, well, that would be the best outcome, definitely.
It beats the other when they say, really? They're coming?
Yeah. But you know, it is really neat, though, to be in that position you're in and look back and not only be grateful for the things that were, you know, perfect in your eyes or beautiful in your eyes, but also for those things that weren't. There's a lot of us who dwell on those things and we can't really get past them, or we let them limit us from moving forward, and to look back in those experiences with full gratitude really can change a lot for you going forward.
Oh, a tremendous amount. And the other part of it is when we're willing to look at the incident, the people, the situation, and to attempt to not see it through our eyes, but to see it through a fuller filter of all the people involved. It gives us a whole new view that maybe the person who was so abrupt with us, it wasn't about us. It was about that was how they learned to communicate. It just hurt us because we weren't used to it. Or someone who was very critical, that's because that was how they were raised. And it wasn't about us, but that was how they gave information. And you can take this, I feel, on almost any of the weird things in your life. And if you try to understand it from a different perspective, it doesn't mean that what happened didn't hurt, or it didn't wound you or make you cry or go, what in the world? But it helps you understand that maybe it wasn't about you. Maybe it was about the lack within that person. It's the analogy of, when you go to an empty cupboard to try to get something to eat, they just don't have it. If they had it, they'd give it to you. But literally asking someone who doesn't know how to give a compliment for a compliment, they don't mean to disappoint you, but they don't know how to do it.
Yeah, we are all at different levels and on our own journey for sure.
And
it's neat though, because we can learn from one another that way.
Most definitely. And it also gives us the opportunity to say, do I like that style of interaction? Does that feel comfortable to me? If you're around people that are critical all the time, you get to choose, do I want to do that? Does that feel like a comfortable way of life? Or would I rather see people and say, gosh, it's wonderful to see you. How lovely. Do I want to celebrate what's good, or do I only want to focus on, the exception? Do I want to always find the problem?
Yeah, it puts a lot of things. I'm sitting here I'm like listening to everything you're saying. I'm just like, yeah, because I'm so in agreement with what you're saying. And I have learned so much from so many people on different levels. I've learned so much about me from not just observing them, but having them be my teachers no matter where they're at in their lives.
I completely agree, because we get to accept or reject. We get to say, isn't that great? Or we get to say, that's not someone I want to be, or that's someone I want to aspire to be.
Yeah.
It gives us, and I don't know that we take the time to realize that we really get to choose who we want to be.
Isn't that the magic part that we somehow forget along the way, that this is our journey and we are in the driver's seat. We get to choose. We get to make the choices. If our lives are a certain way, we get to make the choice to change that if it's not what we desire, or if we desire more of what we have.
And that's not to say it may not be at a cost, because you need to be realistic. If, you're in a very traditional community and you decide you want to have purple hair, you're going to get a few raised eyebrows until a few other people think the purple hair looks pretty cool and they decide to rock it too.
Be a trendsetter.
But any trendsetter, any person who's the first to do anything, we have to give them credit, because a fair number of people have rolled their eyes at them.
Right. Absolutely. Well, this leads us into the whole coaching thing. Like, we are in the driver's seat and we can make different choices, but we don't always know how to do that, whether it's in our life, our business, our personal, or whatever that looks like. Having a coach is beneficial for every single person. Wouldn't you agree?
I completely agree, because whether it's a business coach, a sports coach, a life coach, a career coach, what you're saying is, I'm going along okay, but I believe there could be more or it could be better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking for you to help me see where more or what more I could do. And that makes us very vulnerable, because we're admitting we don't have all the answers.
Right.
And we don't like that. It's our life. We're supposed to have all the answers. And vulnerable is never a comfortable place. Of course, we could also say all the best stuff happens when you are vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the first time, you let someone know you love them, or the first time you hold a baby, terrified you might drop them. But the first time of anything, when we risk it, there's so much fulfillment that comes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I remember overcoming when I started on my journey, like recognizing that I was the driver of my own vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have to be like my parents, or I didn't have to be like my best friend. Like, I could be me. I remember that aha moment very vividly, but also in the same moment, I was terrified. It was so scary. Like, wait, what? Like, I don't have to join this church or be like my neighbor. I get to do what I want to do, because they're so, especially, okay, let me just tell you, Utah's very dominant in a particular religion, and there is a lot of backlash that you receive if you don't partake in that belief system. And it's hard, challenging to be a certain way that's not there. It's scary, because you lose a lot of people, which you realize, they're not your people, but that's a whole nother journey. But just as an example, just learning how to just step into your own power and be your own self is so empowering.
And it is so wonderful that you experienced it sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for many people, it never happens.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that they don't live wonderful lives. And I'm not saying anybody questioning isn't living a wonderful life. But sometimes people want a little bit more. But when we embrace that it's our life sooner rather than later, it's amazing the possibilities before us.
Yeah.
And
it's limitless.
I was going to say, and look at all that you've accomplished.
Right. It's so awesome when you get in that place. Just thinking about it now is it's exhilarating, and what a great reminder, because we do tend to go back into our old patterns and behaviors at times, or think that we can't do something, and just having a reminder of how it all began is such a great motivator to put you back into place of, I can do this. I can do anything I want.
And that you are your own person.
Yeah.
And that is something that is hard, because we do have such a sense of identity, of our family identity, of our community identity, of, everybody talks about their tribes, and, that I'm a this with a that and a, swirly Q on the side. But that's not really who we are. That's part of what surrounds us.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not necessarily who we are. And I can appreciate, one of the things I'm most grateful for is I was raised in a Roman Catholic tradition, but my father was taught by the Jesuits. So it makes perfect sense that I'm all about the questions, because the Jesuits have been questioning everything since they started.
It's embedded in you.
Apparently I just clicked it. It's in my little DNA.
But see what you're bringing to the table.
Exactly. But part of that was, I was raised that it doesn't matter what your words are, it's what your actions are.
Yeah.
So as you were saying that, I realized we were already a little bit, I guess, rebels and I didn't know it.
I think there's a little rebel inside of all of us.
Thank heavens.
Yes, thank goodness, right? What a boring place that would be. How, when we get to this place, how do we even know that we need a coach? Like, what point do we get to where we're like, I could really benefit from using a coach?
Well, we start talking with our friends, and our friends are wonderful, and they are great, and they want everything for us. But sometimes they aren't that comfortable with our making change, because if we change, our relationship with them will change. Mm-hmm. And so they're not able to give us the most honest or clear feedback. And especially for saying, gosh, I'm going to go climb a mountaintop. They're thinking, well, I'm not going to see you on the weekends. So they might be giving us what they believe is the best advice, but it comes with their own agenda. And I truly believe that coaches of any kind are these fabulous individuals that listen to what we say, but listen to what our heart is calling for. And that's a very hard position to be in, because we all want to, we're going to do it tomorrow. But for whatever reason, we hold ourselves back, and so we don't get to it. And they find a way to help us get to our dreams using our skills and our talents. Mm. And I'm sure many of them have thought, good heavens, I really thought you'd be flying by now. But they hang in with us, they believe in us, they listen to us, they help us. And that's no small task. Mm. And I really do give them a world of credit, because so often we think we want to do one thing and we sort of have a clue, but not really. And it's like if you opened a restaurant, you would know how to order food and how to hire people and how to do all these very serious core tasks. But if we don't know what we want to do, or if we want to change career, or if we're just sort of lost, we need someone to help us at least find our roadmap, because we don't have clear, hard questions we can ask. And even if they just get us to that point, they've done a huge job.
So coaching would be beneficial for us on many levels, that included. But what are some other reasons why a coach would be so beneficial for us?
They help you find clarity. They will also hold you accountable. They will, as you were talking to them, listen on multiple levels. You could be saying that you're planning on doing something, yet your actions for the past 3 weeks completely contradict that. Mm. And so they'll ask, is this really what you want to do, or do we need to refocus this? When we're on our own, we'll get lost in the defeat. I was going to do that and I never did, and oh gosh. So we're so looking in one direction only. Mm-hmm. And a coach can say, you know what? That isn't working. Let's look at another way to do this. Maybe that'll be easier or better. It'll be different. Let's see if it works. And when we're so in the thick of it, we don't realize that we're that lost. Mm. And the more we stay lost, the more likely it is we're just going to give up at some point.
Yeah.
If anybody's ever done one of those mazes or labyrinths, there's a point where you are more than halfway in it, and it isn't supposed to be this hard, and all you want to do is find a power saw and take the shortcut. But you can't do that in life. In life, you have to finish going through that entire hedge maze and get to the end. And that's what a coach is there to help you figure out the ways to get there.
Yeah. I also like the accountability part of having a coach. I've hired a coach before just for that. I had everything lined out. I shared with my coach. They thought it was great. But my follow through, I am like, oh, look, it's a bird. I have so many things going on that to focus is, a whole other thing. And so, yeah, the accountability is huge, at least for me.
I would say for most of us, even we all think that we're very accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you, even having a to-do list makes me more accountable. But there are things on that to-do list that are still sitting there, not done. But having someone we have to answer to really does make us go, why am I not doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I seem to finish this project? Or what is it that why don't I want to do this? I said I do.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm just like, yes. I feel I'm like so into what you're saying and your voice. It's so soothing. And so you're talking so peacefully. And then you're done. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we're talking.
I hope I'm not putting everyone to sleep.
It just feels really good. I really like it. But we are going to take a quick break so we can get our stretches in. You are listening to Soul Wanderings here on KGRAradio.com. Let's take that quick break and we'll return shortly to continue our wandering with our guest, Melinda J. Kelly.
September 13th through the 15th, if you are a critical thinker seeking answers to questions like, what are aliens? Are they demons or visitors from other worlds? Do they have an agenda? And if so, how do we stop them from interfering in our lives? Then the place you need to be is Branson, Missouri, inside the Mansion Theater, as Gen 6 Productions presents The True Legends Answering the Alien Question Conference 2019, featuring writer, explorer, and filmmaker Timothy Alberino, author, lecturer, and filmmaker L.A. Marzulli. Is our planet being prepared for reseeding by non-Earth entities? Find out from publisher Mike Adams, UFO investigator Chase Kletzky, investigative reporter George Knapp, world-renowned researcher and author Steve Quayle, and many more. Reserve your seats or order live streaming now at gen6.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
This is Richard Dolan, and I want to brag for just a second about the incredible authors I publish under Richard Dolan Press. Some of the most innovative and well-researched books in the field of UFOs and beyond that you'll find anywhere in the world. Incredible UFO encounters, the cover-up, the experiences by ordinary people, Russian UFOs, psychic phenomena, consciousness, synchronicities, and owls. Yeah, it's all there, and it's all fascinating reading because I would never publish a book that isn't. To learn more, go to richarddolanpress.com.
Around the world for decades have come high strangeness reports of mysterious aerial lights, beams, animal mutilations, human abductions, secret space and military programs focused on an alien presence. One reporter of these Earth mysteries is Emmy award-winning TV producer, writer, and editor Linda Moulton Howe. She reports and edits the science, environment, and real X-Files news website, earthfiles.com.
We are moving from the paradigm that we are alone in the universe to a new one in which we are not alone. And something out there is interacting with us, our animals and plant life, forcing glimpses of other realities upon us.
Linda has produced 4 large books about these phenomena with hundreds of color images and illustrations that reviewers such as New York Times best-selling author Jim Marrs describes as an amazing accumulation of evidence. All her books, An Alien Harvest, the 2-volume Glimpses of Other Realities, and Mysterious Lights and Crop Circles, along with documentaries, are available in the shop at earthfiles.com.
Live alternative talk radio in over 125 countries across Mother Earth. KGRAradio.com.
Soul Wanderings here on KGRA Digital Broadcasting, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Hudson Valley, New York. You can find Soul Wanderings here as well as many other platforms like iHeartRadio, TalkStream Live, Spreaker, iTunes. There's a lot. So just search for us. And also make sure you guys follow and check out the new official KGRA radio on YouTube. That's where all of the latest show archives are being placed. But wherever you guys are joining us from tonight, live or after the fact, welcome. We're happy to have you here wandering with us this evening. If you have questions for our guests and you're with us live tonight, make sure you guys are hanging out in the chat room. We're wandering into our second half of the show, so there's time for you to still ask if you have any of those questions. Just go to kgraradio.com/chat. We're visiting with Melinda J. Kelly, author of Finding Your Coach, tonight, and we're talking about those questions, the coach questions, like why do I need a coach and why would a coach be beneficial to me? So, Melinda, do you feel like everyone ought to have a coach? Do you feel like it would be great for every person to have someone have their back like that?
I actually, as you say it, I do. Because it's so lovely to have someone where you're the only priority. And the other is, and I like to use the example of if it's in business or if it's in life or if it's in health or whatever arena it's in, that you have someone that is your advocate, that they're there to look at everything to help you. Mm. And you can say it's a bit of a luxury, but maybe we need to reframe what's a luxury. Maybe a manicure pedicure is a luxury, but having someone who takes care of me and my health, my overall being, maybe that's not a luxury. Maybe that's a necessity.
Mm. Yeah, I can see how you would get the two confused.
Because it's very easy, because for so long it's like, oh no, we're just all fine. It's almost like we're little robots that have been wound up and put on the tabletop and just keep stepping forward and forward. And we may not realize we're getting to the end of the tabletop. And maybe that's what the coach is for us, is someone to come along and say, let me tap you this way so that you're not going to fall off the deep end.
Again, it's with the accountability. And it's nice to know that someone has your back. A lot of people, though, will make excuses like, I can't really afford a coach, or that's just not a priority in my budget right now. What do you say to those people who don't invest in themselves in this way, or choose not to invest in themselves?
And I have great respect, because everybody's got a different pile of pennies. And if you aren't able to right now afford that, and it is a luxury as well as the manicure and the pedicure, there are other ways to look into it and finding ways to help yourself improve. And if it's from a group of women friends, realizing, you know, it's not going to be fully what you want, but it might be something. If it is taking, with the internet, we have the access to webinars and seminars and all sorts of different classes, so that you're constantly enriching yourself and your approach to life. Many of those are free. Many of them may have programs, but they will also have things that can help you spark. You might want to consider going to a library, because I don't know how many people realize they have books, but they have audiobooks. They have DVRs and movies and visual things. Many of them have subscription services to major newspapers. And so if you're on a journey to learn, that's a resource you may not have thought of. And I will tell you, I love my library. I'm passionate about my library. And I fully admit I have fines on one or two occasions, and I like to think I've contributed to buying a few new books. But our libraries are an underrated, just fabulous resource that we seem to forget about. There are a lot of ways to continue your education until you're at the point that you can find someone, or ask your friends. They may know somebody who is starting out in the coaching arena. Maybe be willing to work with you as one of their first clients. But we need to be willing to be open and say, hey, this is what I've got going on. Do you have some ideas? And in some ways, that's a great start for your coaching experience, because from the moment you hire somebody, you're being vulnerable in ways you're not comfortable with. And it's acknowledging, as I mentioned earlier, we don't have all the answers. But the other part that we don't fully realize is that all of our unresolved issues are going to start showing up when we work with this person. I know, I think I'm a completely and totally together person. And I know I have this unruly 5-year-old that pops up. And she's very fun and very nice, but she can be really difficult too. And that's part of me. And when I started my sort of exploration of what is it I want to do, I'm so fortunate that I had friends suggest, oh, listen to this person or go to that person. And so I started taking courses and working with people, and I was working with great people. People are having miraculous breakthroughs with them, and I wasn't. Now, maybe they're further along. Maybe I can come up with a lot of reasons why maybe it wasn't me the first time, and even the second time. But when you start working with somebody else and you see a pattern repeating, I'm afraid we all have to sit there and go, it's not them, it's me. And that's what started me down my little journey that ended up becoming my book, because how could I be in the same room and listening and hearing every word and taking copious notes and yet still clueless? What was going on with me that I wasn't getting it? And that took me down a really interesting road, because I had to start asking myself a lot of things about myself. And I had to own up that maybe I wasn't as perfect as I thought. And that was okay. But, we all think, and even that was one of the first things I realized that I do, that when I mentioned it to my friends, they all said, oh yeah, I do that too. And I call it, I'm so smart, I'm stupid. And I'd be willing to bet almost everyone's done this, but we go sit in a room and they're doing a presentation and we go, oh yeah, I know that. Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Oh yeah, we all know that. And I'm so busy knowing all this stuff that I start to shut the speaker out. And somewhere in the discussion, a pearl of wisdom gets dropped. But I'm so busy having all the answers, I've completely missed it. So I've been so smart, I haven't helped myself. I've been so smart, I was a little stupid. And I mentioned that to friends, and they're like, oh yeah, I've done that. And I thought, okay, maybe this isn't just me. Maybe other people do these things too. And so I started looking at what I thought were traits and tendencies that were holding me back. And I don't know that I've encountered every one of them, but I feel that I've come up with 2 lists of really good things to talk about within ourselves that we can answer, and only we can answer to ourselves. And, if I still want to be the smartest person in the room and, not get it, I can continue to do that. But I decided that wasn't very much fun. Mm. I was looking at all these wonderful people I'd met that were getting their dreams. And I thought I'd really much rather be one of those people getting my dreams.
It's much more fun. I agree.
Well, it certainly has been one heck of a fun adventure.
So was that the whole entire reason why you decided to write your book, Finding Your Coach?
A lot of it was. And as I was going through everything, and I was working with fabulous people, and I really got very nervous about it, because at that point, while part of my professional life has been business counseling, which I suppose you could say was counseling at the business level, I didn't think of myself as a coach. And I didn't want to be accidentally rude to coaches. And then I realized this will hopefully make everyone's experience working together so much more constructive. Because when we understand what it is we're doing, when we get how we're sabotaging ourselves, they don't have to break us down or question us or quiz us or redirect us. When we know what we do, we can start to be aware of it, so that when we start to do stuff that doesn't make sense, we can go, oh yeah, I'm going off the rails. I'm a little crazy right now. And then go, okay, I've been here before. It's all right. I'll get through this. And understand that whatever the reason was, it made sense a long time ago. But it doesn't make sense now. And when we know what we're doing, it makes it so much easier to work with people. And that's in your office, with a coach, in your family. If we understand why we need jerk about stuff, well, isn't it lovely that the next time we're at some event and something happens, we don't just fly off the handle? We're like, oh, yeah, can't believe they did that. Instead of going off onto a wild, tirade about stuff. Mm-hmm. It helps us understand who we are because we now have an answer to our question. Like I said, if that little 5-year-old comes up, I can sit there and go, oh, okay, you need a nap.
I wish my 5-year-old would tell me that more often. That would be lovely.
We've had a lot of chats.
In the beginning of my journey, where I was actually paying attention, I should say, I got told quite often to connect with my 5-year-old. And in the beginning, I thought, how strange. Why would I go back to who I was in the past, especially my 5-year-old? What does she know? But it turns out she knows a lot more than I do.
She's open. She's honest. She's pure. If she's happy, she's happy. If she's sad, she's sad. Mm-hmm. She may say the truth. It may not come out soft or sweet, but it's true. She'll hold your heart in her hands. She'll blot your tears away. 5-year-olds have incredible wisdom that gets forgotten or lost as they get toughened up in 2nd grade.
Yeah, and it's so unfortunate, but being aware that you can still connect to your 5-year-old self literally will do wonders. I am so thankful that I was given that tool and that reminder because it does put a lot of things in perspective for me. Mm-hmm. It's been really neat. And I love that you've brought that up. Thank you.
Well, and I love that you and your 5-year-old have been chatting too. They might need to get together for a tea party.
Oh, let's do it. It's a date, girlfriend. It's a date.
I see imaginary mud cakes. I love it.
Oh, yes. That was one of my favorite things when I was young. Let's do it. I think that would be wonderful. There is definitely, I don't want to call it a trend because that sounds very insensitive, but when people start really figuring out their garbage and kind of get on this kick, like they know who they are, they know where they're going, all of a sudden they are a life coach. It seems like everyone is a life coach these days.
Oh, Lord, yes.
Yeah. How can you tell the ones who are actually experienced or the ones who were just like, yeah, I've gone through this, so now I can teach you how to go through it, or maybe even taking advantage of you and your time and your money?
Well, the first thing I would suggest is talk with your friends. Ask them if they know somebody or if they know somebody. Put it out there on your social media or send an email to your friends. And then when you meet with somebody, pay attention. This is a relationship. And there are people we get along with. Don't think twice about it. And there are people, and I actually refer to this in the book. There was a woman I went to. I was going to take a writing class. And I never quite felt at ease with her. And every week she would savage what I wrote, to the point that other people in the group were like, I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if in a past life I kicked her in the shins. I don't know what, but we did not mesh. And I didn't realize for a long time how much that critical, ongoing negativity had cut into my sense of being able to write or do things. Mm. So when you feel something, honor it. Because you know what? That's also a question. We innately know. When you listen to people talk about, I was walking down the alley and I got a weird feeling, so I turned around. That is part of who we are. That is a gift we are given, but we don't tend to honor it and respect and appreciate it. Mm-hmm. So if you're not meshing well with someone, accept it. If you're working with someone and you feel that, gosh, we had a really great start, but I'm not sure I'm getting what I need, then say thank you. You've had a great run. You may have moved further than they can give to you, or they may specialize in one area and you've gone beyond that. It's just like if you think about going in grade school. You change teachers all the time because each one has something new to give to you. And just because your friend has had a great experience, it doesn't mean you're going to have a great experience. You probably will, but certain people mesh differently with different people. So I guess in a long-winded way of saying, pay attention to how you're feeling. Talk with them. Ask them what their approach is. Ask them what their expectations are of you, just as you need to have expectations of them.
So it'd be safe to say you would definitely know when you are working with the right coach or not. You're either not progressing or it just doesn't feel right.
Yes. And especially in, I'm going to say, the woo-woo area, because if you're dealing with if you're dealing with a business coach and you're looking at, shifting your employee morale from X to Q, you have an identifiable marker. If you're in a sports coach relationship, if you've improved your tennis serve, you have a clear result. If you're in a skill set where you're trying to learn some new skill and you begin to master it, you've got the right person.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about your life or life changes or transitions or things along that gets a little harder because it's nebulous and it really is all about how you are feeling. What I would say is if you work with someone and it doesn't work, and you work with someone and it doesn't work, and you work with someone and it doesn't work, maybe you have to ask yourself, is it them or is it you?
Yeah, and that's a hard question too, and especially to own up that it could definitely be you. Like you're the one that needs to make the change.
Because I truly believe that most people in the coaching field, they are not there about collecting a check. They are there to create meaningful change.
Yeah. And I think that's where you can tell the difference because there are so many coaches. You can sincerely tell the ones who are genuinely there for you and those who are not. There is a difference, definitely.
So once again, it's that question and paying attention to it and listening to yourself.
Yeah.
And once again, it's all on us.
Well, yeah, and it always has been, right? We're just giving ourselves the power to allow that to be true, allow that to be who we really are. Like the power is within us, and it always has been. We're just hiring someone to, push us a little further or hold us accountable or whatever that looks like.
And it just struck me, it's very childlike and romantic to think that we're going to find somebody that's going to say, oh, let me grab the magic fairy wand, bop you on the head, make it all better. And
what would be the fun in that?
And that's every little 5-year-old's dream. But that's not real life. And as you said, really what would be the fun in that? It's the journey that helps us own the experience and the knowledge and the wisdom. I can buy a health club membership, but if I don't go work out, it's not going to change anything.
Good.
And we have a tendency of wanting, for want of a better word, to throw money at it and make it better.
We want that magic pill. We want the magic fix. And, doing the work is a whole nother ball game.
Yes, and it takes time and it's inconvenient, and I might have to answer questions I don't want to.
And be held accountable.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we have coaches. They're good for us. We are going to take our last break of the time we have together with Melinda. And when we get back, I have a few more questions for you. So stick around, you guys. We'll be right back.
Hi, Matt Ray here with America's First News, and I have a question for you. What do we all have in common, regardless of our age or profession? The busy, the elderly, students, doesn't matter. What do we all have in common? Stress, right? Stress causes anxiety in our lives, and we are susceptible to memory issues from time to time, too. So why not guard against both? Guard against the effects of chronic stress and improve your memory with one supplement, Calm and Clever. Ingredients help enhance memory and retain new information, while other ingredients reduce stress by maintaining healthy levels of the stress hormone cortisol. Calm and Clever was created by scientist Kurt Hendricks, a principal investigator in 2 NIH-funded studies on Alzheimer's disease. Sharpen your mind and feel calm and centered. Try Calm and Clever. Go to calmandclever.com. Enter the promo code radio for $5 off. Again, calmandclever.com. Enter the promo code radio for $5 off.
Hey, is that a new music app?
Yeah, check it out. Surfer Music Discovery. It links to thousands of online stations, but the twist is you see the song names and artists that are now playing live.
That's different. No guessing. Looks like a waterfall of music.
So many formats. Rock, oldies, country, R&B, jazz, and a whole lot more.
How's that spelled?
Surfer. S-U-R-F-R.
Is it expensive?
It's free. No need to sign up or sign in.
Get the Surfer Music app free from Google Play or the App Store.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
This is Richard Dolan announcing a new exclusive content website, richarddolanmembers.com. I've been working on this for a long time. Unique weekly podcasts that you won't hear anywhere else, fresh articles and blog posts, a special video series entitled Off the Cuff with Richard Dolan, regular Ask Me Anything style live chat sessions, and more. This is a full-featured member site where you will get my insights, my updates, and be able to interact directly with me. To learn more, go to richarddolanmembers.com.
Every 2 seconds, someone needs blood. Whether it's a natural disaster or one single child suffering from illness, the American Red Cross stands ready to supply blood when it's most needed. But blood is a perishable product. Therefore, it must continuously be replenished. You can safely donate blood every 56 days. The need is constant and patients are waiting. Call your American Red Cross at 1-800-GIVE-LIFE to schedule your life-saving appointment. Please give blood today. Patients are depending on you.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now. The Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
We are the contact for alternative research topics. The Planet, KGRAradio.com.
back to Soul Wanderings on KGRARadio.com. I am AJ Rasmussen. I'm your host of Soul Wanderings. And our guest this evening is Melinda J. Kelly. She is the author of Finding Your Coach. Melinda, there are tons and tons of coaches, tons and tons of books about coaching. How do you feel your book stands out over the others? How does it grab people's attention more so than the other books?
Well, I would say the focus of my book is to give you the tools so that when you start to work with someone, you can be your most true, authentic, and real person from the beginning. Mm. We don't realize all the different little things we have wrapped within us. One of the things, most of us don't think about it because we're adults, but whenever we make someone the authority, do we know what our relationship is with authority figures or with a parental individual? If you're dealing with a woman coach, are you making her your mother? What was your relationship with your mother? Do you react? Do you know what you're doing? Have you even thought about this? Have you set this coach up for failure because you don't know the baggage you're bringing into the room? Mm. Now, we don't think about that because we're adults. We're together.
We have it all figured out.
Exactly.
So how did we get more clear with what we really want?
It's by looking at who we are and what we do. And I have 7 different questions that I had to sit there and look at and ask myself, was I doing this? And if I was, I needed to own it. And I needed to be able to look at this person independently. And I needed to step up into being an adult and not staying in that child position that it's really easy to do. I needed to be, once again, I needed to be accountable as an adult, not dependent on this person I made my surrogate parent. Mm. Now, we all think, I'll go to mom, I'll go to dad. They'll have all the answers and it'll all be better. And when we do that accidentally in our mind, we're not being fair to anyone we work with.
Mm-hmm. And when you bring up that right there, we're not being fair with the people we're working with, but don't you feel like we're not being fair with ourselves if we're not really ready to show up 100% authentically for ourselves?
Good heavens, yes. We're not fair to them, we're not fair to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And then we disappoint ourselves and we are able to say, well, that didn't work. Well, it would have worked, but we weren't there completely. Mm-hmm. And so we accidentally keep ourselves stuck. And none of us want that for each other. So,
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if we don't know, it's like if you're riding a bicycle with a somewhat flat tire, we don't understand why it's so hard. And until someone points out to us or we realize the tire isn't right, we're just going to exhaust ourselves until we get rid of the bike. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what we're doing in our coaching relationship. We've got this great vehicle. We've got this great dream. We're going to go get there. But we're so busy fighting ourselves to try to make the bike work that we don't take the time to figure out what the problem is. And we get so exhausted, we give up. Mm-hmm.
Well, do you feel like sometimes it isn't us? Like we've done everything that we know in our power, and you brought this up just a little bit previously, but what if it's not us? What if it's the coach? What is the choice? What if the choice we went with ended up, as far as the coach goes, ended up doing us more harm than good? Like, how would we recover from that?
Well, we say thank you very much and have a lovely life. You know?
Right. But then we've digressed, obviously.
I did
move forward. We learned a lesson, I'm sure, but how would we recover from that? Just by jumping right back in and getting another coach, or?
Honestly, I think by getting back in, they say get back on the bicycle, but there's a good reason for that. The longer you lick your wound, the bigger it becomes, because it's no longer an accurate sense of things.
Mm.
And you've allowed this one experience to become all of your experiences, instead of getting another experience to say, oh, one thinks I walk on water and one thinks I'm pond scum. I'm going with walk on water. But if we only let one opinion be the only opinion,
mm-hmm.
then we've hurt ourselves. And if you go and have another experience and it isn't right, well, then you do need to say, this is 2 in a row. Am I being realistic? Am I entering this fully? Am I being open? Am I being honest? Am I true? Or do I have this great idea, but I don't know how to get there? You know, I sometimes think we're all great at creating a castle in the air. And that's really lovely. But the problem with the castle in the air is we need someone to help us build stairs to it. And if we don't know how to get from the ground to our castle, we're just going to look at it with longing for a long, long time.
It really is about finding the coach that you resonate with, and one that's going to push you out of your comfort zones and help you work through those fears and overcome your limitations.
And let's be honest, we're scared all the time over things that make sense and things that don't make sense.
You're right. Yeah.
But once again, it's getting up and doing it. They say public speaking is people would rather swim with sharks than get up and make a speech.
Yeah. I mean, it's a legitimate fear for so many of us. Yeah.
I would bet for the most part, if we were to get up and speak, even if we were to make a mistake or 7, most of the people in the room would be fairly kind and compassionate. So what are we really scared about? Are we afraid that we're not going to be perfect? Is it there's some sense of what we must be as opposed to what we are? Are we afraid that our thoughts and opinions aren't going to be well received? I mean, you can look at all the great orators, and I think almost all of them had tomatoes thrown at them at least once.
Mm-hmm.
So we've created all these phantoms and ghosts and boogeymen that really don't exist. And just by doing it, we get to build up that muscle of realizing who we are and what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And that maybe it's okay if we aren't perfect. The next time we're going to be better, because maybe the first time our knees knocked, and maybe the second time nobody could see it, and maybe the third time we were able to look at the audience and smile, and maybe by the fourth time we were really pretty good.
Do you feel like it's beneficial to work with more than one coach at a time, or would that be detrimental to your growth?
I don't know that I feel that would be helpful, only because if you're working with someone on a project, whatever the project is, you've said, I trust your belief and how we're going to get there. And so if you start working with somebody else and they say, well, that's nice, but this is really what you need to do, well, then who are you believing?
Mm.
And are you undercutting one with the other? And so I really feel work with one at a time see what works with you and for you. And if you come to a place where you don't feel you're getting what you need, or you feel you've gotten a ton of stuff, but you've moved on, then it's time to say, this has been lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm now going to go look for someone else. But I think that's a really good point, because a lot of people say, oh, well, work with a bunch of people. Well, the other question is, how much time do you have in your day?
Right. I only asked that question because I personally know a few people who are working with a spiritual coach, and then a health coach, and then a life coach, and a business coach. And I just feel like that's a lot of coaching going on all at once.
And the other is, I would offer, is you're going to have changes, but I don't know if you're able to fully take them in.
Mm.
A lot of, on any one of those fields, if you make a breakthrough, it's going to touch all the others. If you realize that you've been holding fear in, and that makes you lash out in the business arena, when you realize that, you will take that into your personal life. That may free up some of the energy in your physical and your health life if you're not in this place of irritation or, suppressed rage. Mm-hmm. If you're working with someone, with a spiritual coach, each time we have a breakthrough, it touches every aspect of our life. If you're working with all four and they're coming at four different directions, how do you fully integrate a change and understand it so that you can own it and master it? And maybe I'm very simple, but it seems to me I would want to be able to own my changes so that it's not a 20-minute shift in my life. It's something I can take to the bank and take it into my future.
Slow and steady, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can see why it would be more beneficial to stay with one coach. I feel like more than one at a time would just be too much, especially the point that you brought up. Like when you're working with a coach, it actually is benefiting you on all levels, not just one specific. And so there's really no need at one time to work with more than one coach.
If you think about a spider's web, there are a lot of lines and a lot of things going on. But if you touch any one of them, it'll pull the others in that direction. And that really is our life. We're a very intricate, delicate web of connections and things.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we make a change in one area, I really do believe it goes through our entire world.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I feel the same way, definitely.
Well,
and speaking of making a change, in the beginning of the show, when you were sharing with us about your upbringing, you brought up that you have done a lot of volunteering.
And I want to say to anyone who is out there volunteering, thank you.
Yes.
I would like to say also that we tend to think of it as we're just volunteering, but anyone who has ever organized an event has done staffing, has worked with budgets, has worked with vendors, that there are a lot of skills that we don't appreciate we are doing parallel to the professional or business world. And those skills are transferable. And I truly believe that the greatest undervalued economy in the world is volunteer hours and time.
Mm-hmm. And I love that you brought that up, because that in itself, I feel like, is a good coaching experience.
Oh, it's a phenomenal experience. You are placed with people, different experience, life, everything. Mm-hmm. You have to find your common ground. You have to stay focused on what the mission, the objective is. It's not about you. It's about the people you're serving.
Mm-hmm.
It's, your celebrations are the funniest things. but they are lasting legacies. And so if it's from creating a library at a school or working with a hospital that has come up with a new procedure to save a child's life, you have a sense of collectively giving to the future and creating something. I always call it my God forbid work. God forbid I didn't do it. And God forbid I ever need to, ever have to use it. So I'm very thankful that that's been part of my life and my upbringing.
Yeah, and a lot of people have those experiences. That's why I wanted to chat with you about it, because I think, one, it's so selfless and so amazing that you do that you volunteer your time. And two, it's such a growth experience for yourself.
Well, but I also am going to say we can talk about how selfless it is. And of course it is. But you meet these incredible people that become your best new friends. And more than that, you're saving the world, you're doing all this great stuff, and you're having fun. And so, yeah, it's selfless, but, selfishly, I really got a lot of great gifts too. And then, you've got your own personal self-enrichment. And many of the boards I served on, we would do an exercise to sort of determine the group dynamics and things like that. You got to learn about yourself. So we can sit here and say, oh, wasn't I just this noble soul? But I'm really happy to say that I got probably more than I gave.
I hear that a lot by people who volunteer, that it definitely fills their bucket more than they feel like they fill buckets of others.
One of the organizations I did, they had a giant rummage sale, very unsexy. And of course, none of us want to do hard work. We just would like people to drop checks and leave us alone. And I remember being there the day of the rummage sale. And it was the first time I realized the impact of what we were doing, because we were allowing the community to come in, and it was in September before school, or at least when school used to start. I think school goes, all year now. But to watch a mother be able to spoil her children when she was on limited funds. We gave people the ability to say yes when so often they had to say no, and to give them a place where they could do this with fun and with dignity. And you realize that this wasn't just about the money. That was nice, because that would go help other people, but we were helping people in a real meaningful way right then and there. And that's something I will keep with me forever, because it made me so appreciate what I've been given, what I'm able to give, and to respect where other people are coming from.
Yeah. It sounds amazing. Would you say that's probably one of your most memorable times being a volunteer?
Oh, honey, this is the lovely. I have so many.
Good. Great answer. Great answer. Because I'm sure every time that you've volunteered, I'm sure that there's been something that has influenced you or changed you or hit your feels,
Anybody who has ever put on something with volunteers knows there's the moment when everything has just collapsed and fallen apart. And you have two choices. You can either just throw the towel in, or you can start laughing and rebuild. And the best stories start with, do you remember when?
Yes.
And it really gives you a sense of your own style, of your ability to work with people. When I say you get so much more, you realize things you never knew you had in you.
See, and I think you talk about coaching in your book and, all of these wonderful things, which I have found awesome to be sharing, but your volunteer work, a lot more exciting to me just because I feel like that is our biggest teacher, is when we allow ourselves to be in those experiences that create those growth experiences for us, the ones that really push us outside of our comfort zones and assist other people where they wouldn't have that otherwise, because we are all here to assist each other, really.
I would agree. And the other is, it's nice to talk about things in theory, but when you are out there and working with others, it's no longer theory, it's real. And that's also one of the things that made me realize, looking at things in terms of tangible and intangible successes, because we've gotten so caught up in viewing success in such a very limited, finite manner that we don't appreciate there are so many levels of success. So when we did our big event, well, intangible was we helped the community. Tangible is all our membership got to work together and know one another. Intangible is I have a memory that will feed my soul for my entire life. These are forms of success we don't think about because we've gotten so focused on a limited way. And for us to view success and happiness as two sisters or two cousins, but we need to know which is the one that means the most to us. I believe you can have both together, but I think you need to know what your values are for you to have it so that you can have them both together.
And that experience, I'm sure, has assisted you greatly in coaching others as well.
I hope so.
As it goes, right? It's all about our experiences too. I mean, we literally, when I said earlier, like everyone seems to be a coach these days because they went through A, B, or C, and then they're giving out all these life advices and life hacks to other people and calling themselves coaches. I mean, we really are coaching one another. It's just a matter of what we are taking for ourselves from those people and using them as these nuggets of information to change us for the better, or motivate or inspire us for the better, or whether their experience is positive or negative, right? So,
and perhaps we just sort of need to reframe what coaching is. Maybe coaching is the wisdom of the ages, but we're just receiving it in a different form now.
True. Yeah.
We don't tend to have as tight a community, or our family is close to us. And more than that, even if they were, none of the questions we have are as simple as they used to be. And so perhaps this is just now how we get the wisdom we need to help us go forward and do the best we can.
Yeah. It's good. It's so good. All of the stuff that you've shared with us tonight has been really helpful to me. I know a lot of people are going to enjoy it as well. Thank you so much for sharing all of it. Now, your book, Finding Your Coach, how can people get their hands on that?
It's Finding Your Coach, Diving Deep Within. It's available at Amazon in both paperback and Kindle. And if you would like to follow me, I'm on all the usual happy social media at Melinda J. Kelly. And you're welcome to go to my website and melindajkelly.com. And I have a whole list of questions I'd be happy to share with you.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you again and again for spending your time with us tonight and wandering, if you will. You've been a joyous guest, and I really appreciate all of your experiences that you shared. Thank you.
And I thank you for literally time has flown and making it so enjoyable and so delightful. And anytime you want to go wander, I will be glad to join you.
Well, I may hit you up on that in the future. Thank you, Melinda.
I'll make sure I have a patty cake, a little, mud cake session ready.
Yes, our 5-year-old selves can play together. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next week on Soul Wanderings, we're going to have a replay, but don't worry, the week after we'll get to wander again with a new guest live, Athena Demetrios. She has had several experiences in other dimensions and has come to understand and be fascinated by the spirit world. She's a channel, author, and a higher consciousness seminar and workshop leader. And she'll be spending her time with us sharing her personal journey story and stories from the universe. Don't forget, Soul Wanderings can be found on all the main social media platforms as well as soulwanderings.com. Make sure you guys head over there and click on all of my social links and give me a little like or follow. And of course, make sure you're following KGRA Radio on Facebook, on Stellar, YouTube, all of them. Let's share with all of our friends and our family and keep having these amazing conversations that bring movement and awakening and awareness into our everyday experiences. Thank you, everyone, for being here with us tonight, and have a happy day.